Hey there, welcome back to Road to Data Engineer. This is going to be episode 21. Happy Sunday, everybody. Sunday morning. It's 11 o'clock, and I think I'm finally actually awake. Got my second cup of coffee here. So we're going to get into it this morning for a little while. Plan is just to finish the terminal course on Boot.Dev and then probably take a little break and then come back and work on the side project. But one kind of fun thing of note before we get started is I actually got a new hard drive for my computer. So it came in the mail yesterday. I bought a 2 terabyte drive and I had to learn how to clone all the files from my old drive and then wipe the old drive. So you can see here I have the 1.8 terabyte of available space from the new 2 terabyte drive. And then here's my old drive that I wiped. So that was kind of a cool experience. So got more space for any data I'm scraping, all my video files, that type of thing, and learned a little bit more about hardware. So kind of stoked about that, to be honest, and pretty happy about that. So anyways, any other updates before we jump in? I don't think so. Let's have a little sip of coffee and then get after it. All right, so today we're going to do the last chapter of the course, chapter 5 on packages. So let's just go ahead and open our Ubuntu terminal. Okay, hello King, let me watch you cook from our config file. I need to actually add that to my Windows PowerShell file. Configure Windows PowerShell for a welcome message. Okay, so let's learn about some package managers. A package manager is a software tool that helps you install other software. Its primary functions include downloading software, installing, updating, removing, managing dependencies. As a dev, you frequently use package managers to get access to the software you need to get your work done. Yep, I have lots of experience with that. APT Ubuntu, or Advanced Package Tool, is the primary package manager for Ubuntu. To be fair, you can use other package managers on Ubuntu, but APT is the default and most common. If you're on WSL and Ubuntu, you'll be using the APT. If you're on another Linux setup, I pray you already know what package manager you're using. Check to make sure you have APT installed by running the following command. Let's kind of write this section down. Package management. I need to spell management right. APT, aka Advanced Package Tool, is the primary package manager for Ubuntu. To view which version of APT you have installed, APT version. You know, I haven't had a chance to study over the last 2 days. Friday and Saturday were just super busy, and I'm really, really happy to be back at it this morning. Feeling really good. So let's check our version. APT 2.4.11. Brew. There isn't a default package manager for Mac OS, but the most popular one is Homebrew. If you're on Mac OS and you don't have Homebrew installed, you can install it. Assignment. Let's install something NeoVim. Oh shit. Did Primogen just enter the chat? NeoVim is a hyper-extensible and newer version of Vim, which is a new version of VI, which is a popular command line text editor. WSL Ubuntu instructions. First, make sure that apt itself is up to date and we'll install the latest version of NeoVim. Run the following command. To update apt sudo apt update sudo apt update. Okay. Let's see. Reading package list, building dependency tree, reading state information. 46 packages can be upgraded. Run apt list upgradable to see them. Next, install NeoVim. Interesting. Let's look at the upgradable ones. Interesting. Okay, let's install NeoVim. Install NeoVim. To install software via apt sudo apt install software name, i.e. sudo apt install NeoVim. Reading package list, building dependency, installed. Okay, suggested packages, Python greenlit dev, Python greenlit doc. The following new packages will be installed. 220. After this operation, 28.6 megabytes of additional disk space will be used. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do. Okay. Check the installation. Oh, cool. It downloaded some stuff for Python, which is cool. I'm assuming what happened there is like the installer recognized I had Python on my machine and was like, hey, let me automatically install these Python extensions too. Which, if that's the case, that's pretty cool. All right, let's check the installation. NVim version 0.6.1. Paste the output into the input field and submit. Nice. Dang. They really out here trying to get me to use NeoVim and stuff. This isn't a course on NeoVim. We need at least 420 more lessons for that, but let's at least figure out how to edit a file and exit the program. Don't be fooled. Exiting Vim or NeoVim is one of the greatest hurdles you must overcome as a developer. It's a rite of passage. It's a badge of honor. I've been using Vim for about 2 years now, mostly because I can't figure out how to exit it. That's funny. Assignment. There's a public file containing a company password. Using NeoVim to open the World Bank Public Company Info MD file. It's a text file that's using Markdown syntax. You can open a file with NeoVim by passing in the file path as the argument. You know, one thing I'm curious is where NeoVim got installed. Wait, did it probably got installed in Ubuntu? Maybe? I mean, maybe it's probably said where it got installed. Git reading database, selecting, preparing, unpacking. Setting up. Interesting. Ubuntu user lib Python distribution packages. Ubuntu user lib. Interesting. Ubuntu user share. Interesting. NeoVim. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so let's try to open it. World Bank / public / company info.md. How do I know if I'm in NeoVim though? Once it's open, you might notice you can't type anything. That's because you're in normal mode. The mode for navigating and manipulating text. Use the arrow keys. I know. Vim sacrilege to move your cursor down to the last line. Oh, here we go. Company info, name. Okay, interesting. Enter insert mode by pressing the I key. You should see insert appear at the bottom of the screen. Yep. You should now be able to delete the password. Replace just the password with the text redacted. Okay. Redacted. In all caps, no quotes. When you're done, press the escape key to return to normal mode. Then type :W or semicolon W and press enter to save your changes. Written. Okay. Then press semicolon Q to quit. Weird. Okay. Use cat to view the contents of the edited file. Paste the contents into the input field and submit it. Cat World Bank Public Company info. Redacted. Okay. Okay. Package manager review. APT and Brew aren't the only package managers. There are many more, though they do happen to be two of the most popular ones, especially on Linux and Mac OS. How does a package manager work? When you type a command like apt install neovim, the package manager will check to see if the package is already installed. If it's not installed, it will download the package from a repo. It will install the package on your computer. It will install dependencies. It will hopefully add the package to your path if it should be there. Good package managers keep track of what packages you have installed, what versions of those packages you have installed. They keep your file system nice and tidy. Make sure you have installed 10 different instances of the same package application. For your edification, take a look at where your package manager installed neovim on your file system. The which command will help. Interesting. Which in vim. User bin in vim. Let's check that. User bin. Dang, there's a lot of stuff here. There we go, neovim right there. To check where apt installed a file / software, which software name. What do package managers like apt and brew not do? Debug code and fix bugs in the software it manages. Webby. There's one more package manager I want to introduce you to. Actually, it's an anti-package manager. It's called Webby, also known as webinstall.dev. Webby lets you install command line tools directly from the web with no need for a local command line tool like apt or brew. You don't need to install Webby itself at all. Instead, you just run a shell command that downloads and runs the tool's official installer script. Let's install lsd. A more modern version of the ls command. It's essentially ls with a bunch of extra features. Go to Webby and look for the lsd deluxe entry. Navigate to its page and select the correct instructions to install on your system. You should simply need to copy, paste, and run a single command into your terminal, okay? Let's watch this little short video.
Hello and welcome. I'm AJ O'Neill. My buddy Ryan Burnett and I created Webby because we do a lot of client work and working with younger developers, and we wanted something that was an easier, simpler way to install developer tools quickly. The way that Webby works is pretty simple. Number one, you just go down the list and find one of the tools that you're interested in. Number two is that you're going to copy the command that downloads and runs the installer. And number three is that you're going to paste that into your terminal and hit enter to run it. Back on the web page, each installer also comes with a cheat sheet of common things that you might want to know how to do with that tool. Webby can help you quickly install popular programming frameworks like Node and Flutter, modern command line tools like riprep and ls deluxe, and utilities that simplify DevOps like Caddy and SSH pubkey. There are 5 things that make Webby different and solve the problems that we've had with other tools. Number 1, it's easy to remember. We set up new systems frequently, and we wanted something that we could quickly and easily type out on the command line on Mac, Linux, or even Windows to install tools that we commonly use and recommend. For example, when I want to install Brew, I can easily remember that it's webinstall.dev/brew. There's no documentation that I have to look up. Number 2, No sudo. A huge number of the problems I see younger developers struggle with are simply a matter of messed up system permissions, or a tool changing system settings when changing user settings would have done. So I wanted something that doesn't require sudo or other forms of admin privileges to install and that doesn't mess with system settings. No more
That makes
having
sense.
different installers fight over the permissions of user local or the infamous just try again with sudo. What could possibly go wrong? Number 3, lightweight, meaning faster. You may not know this, but America ranks dead last in internet speed among the developed nations, and over 60% of Americans live in rural or suburban communities. I have a hard time telling someone the first thing they need to do to install a 3 megabyte tool is to install a 300 megabyte package manager. The Webby install scripts weigh about 3 kilobytes, meaning that they can fit in just 2 TCP packets. Number 4, official up-to-date builds. Webby installers use official first-party builds, not third-party builds with special patches or modifications. Each Webby installer has a releases.js file that pulls updates from that tool's official releases API, so there's no delay between the time it's released by the software's author and the time it's available for you on Webby. And finally, compatibility and consistency. Most of the developer tools that we feature on webinstall.dev are cross-platform, meaning that they work on Mac, Linux, Windows, and Raspberry Pi all the same. They're mostly also standalone or static builds, meaning that they're just a single binary file free of dependencies, or that everything they need is included in the install package. So updating one thing is not going to break another. The key takeaway is that our goal with Webby is to make developers' lives easier by making a faster, more consistent way to install modern tools. So if you've got great ideas or questions, feel free to reach out to us and get them. Also, if you're interested in becoming a software engineer or just a better web developer, I've got a back to basics style software engineering online video course that you can check out at Beyond Code Bootcamp.
Interesting. Go to Webby and look for the LSD Deluxe page. WebDev. That's cool. You can download Go and Rust. What was the tool I'm looking for? LSD. Vim. System utils. Weird. Am I crazy? Oh, here we do. Go LSD Deluxe. Paste this into a command or command export. To update or switch versions, run this. Interesting. Okay. One of the coolest features of LSD is that you can view your files in a tree-like structure. Try running LSD with the -- tree flag on the world private directory. Command PowerShell not found. Oh, maybe that's because I'm saying I'm on Windows and in a way I'm on Linux. Yeah, here we go. Bootstrapping. Installing LSD. Kernel save, extracting, installing too. Copy, paste, and run the following command. Config newly open terminal windows will update automatically. Okay. Oh, I think it was just adding the command to my path, maybe? Okay. Finally run again with bold tree and classic flags. Okay. So you can view files in a tree-like structure. LSD tree on World Bank private transactions. Damn, that is pretty cool though, actually. Paste the output. Finally run it again with both tree and classic flags on. Okay. Nice. Paste the output in the input field and submit optional icons. You must install Nerd Font and update the font in your terminal settings for LSD to show icons. Interesting. I wonder if I want that. I'm not sure. Okay. As a general rule, it's not smart to pipe a shell script from the internet directly into your terminal because the script could do malicious things. As long as you're doing it via HTTPS and you trust the source, it's not a big of concern. If you want to hear more about it, here's the section of the Backend Banner podcast episode where the creator talks about it in more detail. Interesting. We might listen to that later. Nerd font. What is this? I don't know that I feel the need for that, at least not at the moment. Okay. Up to this point in Boot.Dev, you've written code in our browser editor and you've used a standard terminal. Some developers do their work inside a terminal and use a terminal editor like NeoVim. But a lot of devs, and myself included, prefer to work in a more visual editor, one that doesn't take months to learn how to use. Enter VS Code. It's a fairly lightweight editor that's easy to use for beginners, but powerful enough for professionals. VS Code, not to be confused with Visual Studio, is the most popular code editor among devs today, and for good reason. I love it because it's easy to use for beginners, powerful for professionals, flexible through plugins, has support for almost every coding language. It upsets Vim users. If you don't already have a preferred editor installed VS Code on your machine, well, I already have VS Code. Okay. This is the final required lesson for this course. If you're on Mac or Linux, non-WSLs, you can skip this step. If you're on WSL, you need to set up VS Code to work with WSL. This will allow you to use the full power of your Linux file system with VS Code assignment. Open VS Code and navigate to the extensions menu on the left-hand toolbar. Search for and install this WSL extension. In the very bottom left corner of the VS Code, there should be a green or blue button. Click on that and select New WSL Windows using distro. Okay, I'm actually not sure I'm going to do this yet. Because I'm still not sure that I want to use Ubuntu just because like at work I can't. Like they're not going to let me install this on my work machine. Just because the way my job is. But I'm also not opposed to using it. I think I'm actually going to ask in the Boot.Dev course, or sorry, Boot.Dev Discord about using it versus like just using PowerShell. But before I do that, I want to see if I can configure a welcome message in PowerShell. So I'm gonna assume it's similar to when we configured one in the Linux distribution. Where's my home directory? Which was in this bash.rc file. Right? So I'm guessing it's going to be in a similar type file path. Let's see. So Linux, home, grant, and then here's where I was at. Windows, probably. Well, maybe I can use the command terminal. So let's try a couple things. CD or bank. CD here takes me back to the home directory, right? Home grant. So let's see what my PowerShell home directory is set at. Users grant, I think. I don't know, CD videos. Now, what was the command that allowed me to view hidden files? Including hidden items, ls/a. Let's look it up. Windows PowerShell command to view hidden files. The get children item command line. Hidden files or folders. Use the force parameter with the get child item, the hidden folders. Get children path force. Get child item. Force. Okay, there we go. That definitely worked. And now let's see. What was the Ubuntu file what did it look like that I configured? Bash.rc. Bash history, net user. I want to go back and find where we customized it. Programs. Shell configuration, here we go. How to configure your PowerShell shell. About PowerShell config. The PowerShell.config.json file contains configuration settings for PowerShell. PowerShell.config.json. File in the PS home directory defines the configuration for PowerShell sessions running from the PowerShell installation. Okay. Wow, how do I display my path? How to display path in PowerShell. Oh, env path. No. Env ps drive and retrieve the value. By default, displays can env path. Env path. Is this PS home directory? Oh, you know, this is probably, I can probably just see where this is. Windows system, PowerShell, so let's do that. Okay, so we're in the system. PowerShell.config.json. exe.config. Maybe. Let's use the get child item force command. Get child item source. Interesting. I mean, all users, current user. You can also configure PowerShell on a per user basis by placing the file in the user scope. The user configuration directory can be found across platforms with this. Okay. Let's try it. Great, OneDrive documents. Windows PowerShell. Well, I know it's not true. Let's go back here and try again. Users grant OneDrive documents. Split path profile dot current user current host. Users grant OneDrive documents. And then Windows PowerShell. Yeah, there's no file there. Maybe I have to create one. Probably have to create one. So let's go to this directory again. Yep. And then let's open the PowerShell.exe.config file. Okay, well, I really need to use the restroom, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to figure this out afterwards. But I'm going to end the episode here. When I come back later today, we're probably going to work on the side project again. Thanks so much for anybody who is watching, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.